I was at a local game store recently and was looking for new review material, and new review material I did find. Let's just get it out there. Space Chimps? Has anyone even ever heard of this game? I know I sure as hell didn't. And what is this? It's based on a 2008 movie. I don't remember that at all. Oh well, moving on. Space Chimps is a normal 3D platformer featuring two apes known as Ham and Luna. You alternate between the two and getting to the end of each stage, jumping around on objects, fighting enemies, and collecting globhoppers, or these things. Ham and Luna crash landed onto a planet and are being chased by Zartok, because of course there has to be a villain. According to the 2 minutes of research that I did on the game and movie, the movie apparently fleshes this out a lot more, but when playing the game, I gotta say, I'm confused on what's actually going on, as the story is shown minimally. Cutscenes aren't very telling, and once the stage loaded, I was typically more confused than not. But that's okay, because we have the rest of the game to play. And that, as well, is kind of, well, meh. It just feels like a standard game with no real ingenuity. You run around some linear levels, dispatching the odd enemy at times, and otherwise just trying to reach the end of the level. That's all. As you're running around, there's a few collectibles to find. I already mentioned the globhopper things, and if you collect them all, they're supposed to unlock something, but I've always ended up missing one or two in each stage. There are bananas to find to increase your health. There are also checkpoints to find. It's really about it. Other than that, you just need to get to the end of the stage. The other thing that you can find, of which there's one in every level, is a dull banana. Seriously, they paid money to license out a popular banana brand. What this special banana does is unlock a new costume to wear for your chimps. Is it worth it? Well, the bananas aren't too difficult to find since the game doesn't exactly feature open stages. It's just a matter of do you actually know how to reach it. I didn't really go out of my way to get them, but if you're gunning it for a full completion, it won't be difficult to get it. Playing as the chimps, you'll notice that in stage 2, you lose your ability to attack. I thought my game glitched or something, so I reset the game and reloaded. Well, same issue. So I decided to restart the PS2. Yep, still can't attack. So I decided maybe I missed something in the scene prior, so I just kept going. Then I realized that you're actually playing as Luna, the second chimp. She eventually comes across some sort of lizard-like thing that can spit a projectile in first person and also use its tail like a whip to attack. The thing is, the game never tells you you're playing as Luna instead of Ham. You can only tell if you hear her say something, because clearly that's not a male's voice. I wish the game would have explained why you switch monkeys. Both of them play a little bit differently. Apparently Ham used to be in the circus, so he's a bit more flexible, so he gets access to a combo when striking his foes, which really looks odd when he gets to the third and final strike, as it looks more like an evading cartwheel than a hit. Luna, on the other hand, just gets the whip-like attack. There's no way that I can tell that you can block, so the only defensive option you really have is to jump away. Not like you should really care if you take damage though, as there are plenty of bananas laying around to replenish what you lost. Plus, if you die, the only punishment is to head back to a checkpoint. There are infinite lives, so the game tends to stick to the easy side of things. Enemies aren't the only threat, of course. There are plenty of hazards littering the world. Flames coming out of the ground, thorns appearing on poles, and lots of pits. Some of these are very easy to avoid, but others are a bit trickier. But as I said, with no real penalty other than a small rewind on death, sometimes it's easier just to bowl through the obstacles rather than take your time. That's because the jumping at times feels kinda stiff. That, and I swear the detection is a bit off at times. For example, there would be times I'm trying to jump at a climbable wall or pole, and the game kept telling me that I was failing by throwing me into a hazard below. And what about stupid stuff like this? Rotating rocks in a weird vertical layout? And why are these tree branches moving back and forth? I guess I could just attribute that to the alien planet. There are a few puzzles I need to solve here and there, but they aren't really anything that's going to require a Mensa membership. By the sounds of the back of the case, I figured that the game was going to be littered in puzzles, but it's more so hit this lever to switch a bridge so that you can move a statue head onto a switch. That's about the extent of the puzzles. There's really not anything else to say about the gameplay. It's that mediocre. The only real different stage is when Ham commandeers a bird-type creature and pilots it through a stage. It's kind of difficult to explain, but it's a fairly easy level. The hit detection seems a bit quirky at times, and some of the stalagmites or stalactites seem impossible to avoid in time, as you can't move the bird to the extreme edge of the screen. It's still a nice change of pace, though. There's hardly any music to be memorable, but apparently it's from the Blue Man Group, who I've heard of but never listened to personally. So let's move on to the visuals. For a PS2 game, there's an unusual amount of vibrance. Most games of the era seem to be a bit on the duller side, but there are plenty of greens to be found in this one. Plus, the scenes which you see in between levels look fantastic. Were they taken directly from the movie? I don't know, but they do look good regardless. One annoying thing I do need to mention is the fact that if you idle for a second or two, your monkey will spout out a sarcastic one-liner that is bound to get annoying quick. I don't know why the programmers decided to have a chimp say something so quickly, even so that as soon as the level starts, they are spouting a line. So that's Space Chimps. At the start, before I even bought the game, I took it off the shelf, looked at the cover, laughed, and said there's no way this game can be any good. And I was kind of thrown off because although the game isn't great, it's not bad either. It's just a simple, average game. You can tell it was made as a budget kids game due to its ease and short length. But that's not a bad thing. If you see it, feel free to add it to your collection, as I got it for $3 complete. Final score? 4 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.